fan page, you may be your. Ufre you a jig. When you don't home, busy can't go. You'll be in your cursing cause you a quackra. Say, never be cool, Yamana, Kama. Only be any you want to do in the business. I'm a full PhD, so could be. Ain't it a bend of this when you be seem stress? It's in your go choir of one. It was for the busy when you saw not your tumbi. I'm on full CG. The way to meet the B, I am running, no what DB. Dear now, no. Tina fee, yes, it's a you. Yes, it's him. Do something. Movement. You chinny. You know, see you BDB. Movement. Yes, it's him. You do something. Then come in.
Put my waist on rewind. I can merry-go-round. Swing to and fro like a Caesar. Come and can't go down. I put my waist on rewind. Yeah, like a merry-go-round. Swing to and fro like a Caesar. Come and can't go down. Suck up and pin. Bad girl, me, I give it to them in a them yard. Suck up and pin. Too fast, so the boys say make the wine slow. Suck up and pin. Me, I dribble the boys, some call me Ronaldo. Suck up and pin. And the boys see me ride in a bed like a stallion. Suck up and pin. When me done with a boy, in my prime, I'm a right down. Boys see me in a dance, I dance. Everything set with me killer body. Queen Diva, aka Dangagan. Sweet looking girl, but me rougher than them. So if you ready for the thing, no one night stand and no fling. Come character, put on the ring. Bedroom bully, ting-a-ling-a-ling, yeah. Suck up and pin. Bad girl, me, I give it to them in a them yard. Suck up and pin. Too fast, so the boys say make the wine slow. Suck up and pin. Me, I dribble the boys and call me Ronaldo. Suck up and pin. And the boys see me ride in the bed like a stallion. Suck up and pin. When me done with a boy in my prime, I'm a right down. Give me 2 shots of joy, daddy, and you know I me ready. Lay me down to the floor and make me go gaga. Give me that in daily, make sure you murder in the night and murder in the day. Make sure you murder everything right on bed, on couch, on beach, anywhere. Why don't want to start? Suck up and pin. Bad girl, me, I give it to them in a them yard. Suck up and pin. Too fast, so the boys say make the wine slow. Suck up and pin. Me, I dribble the boys and call me Ronaldo. Suck up and pin. And the boys see me ride in a bed like a stallion. Suck up and pin. When me done with a boy in my prime, I'm a right down. I put my waist on rewind. Like a merry-go-round. Swing to and fro like a Caesar. Come and can't go down. I put my waist on rewind. Yeah, like a merry-go-round. Swing to and fro like a Caesar. Come and can't go down. Suck up and pin. Bad girl, me, I give it to them in a them yard. Suck up and pin. Too fast, so the boys say make the wine slow. Suck up and pin. Me, I dribble the boys and call me Ronaldo. Suck up and pin. And the boys see me right in a bed like a stallion. Suck up and pin. When me done with a boy in my prime, I'm a right down. Bad girl, me, I give it to them in a them yard. Too fast, so the boys say make the wine slow. Me, I dribble the boys and call me Ronaldo. And the boys see me right in a bed like a stallion. When me done with a boy in my prime, I'm a right down.
On your mics. Get set. Straight beat. Go! Something so sweet there for your body. What is that? One mama yare. Something so sweet there for your body. What is that? One mama yare. One mama sit you yare. Diabetes. One mama sit you yare. One mama sit you yare. One mama sit you yare. Yanu. Ordinary Safi farming, or the China Giacoso, and Pa Adia there were Mamma, was zooming with Jimmy. She did make her feel like a king. Also, zooming with Jimmy. Yanuma, she did make her feel like a king. Was the do one message right diabetes. One message right. One message.
no bia de ne de nam nkokọ ma tan gbe wa so wo hwe ne pi na echu mu ne mu dia wo kofia no musie gu so ebia na woni me dia won sabe Canada a chinti wo hu oba yem febufu na mum girl no say wo penalty ebia no ya mansie kutu ade de bi obi aso pebi ya printex mas me shebi baby odo be ko bia miss me ko bi ade nya me dia ma obi aso de ne mum sugar free fe Kumasi Bruce Lee pe one cause you see rich man watch here don't we agree.
One me situation area. Diabetes. One me situation area. Diabetes. One me situation area. Diabetes. One me situation area.
Hold on in your sugar free. I'm on me diabetes. Hold on, I'm the best of me. Making me one day. Do be back and be a mountain. And if you ask you, no come some more. Hold on to me, I'm very cold. Coming on me, what it is. I'm on me, tumba. Babam, I'm a dancer. Me, I was John, not a baby, I'm a toy. Never been to the day I see you. Hold on, I'm a do what it is. It's a yum bum bum, yum bum bum, yum bum bum.
It's your for the back of my go.
Obi Antony Coalition. Obi Antony Coalition. Yeah, be Obi Antony Coalition.
What else?
Body. Obi Antony Coalition. Obi Antony Coalition. Obi Antony Coalition. Body.
Memma woni pe bi embu abonfia ahopo pro mo yenye na bu huntia oye wo tamfo ja no manwia yambu amu amunsi na bu mpia
se wo pe mo anyo menyi na edi na nyame ni awaka no ne bebe mo se wo ma usa swabi ponyi na tutu so my party don't lose God can walk for my door everybody sing it hallelujah. Hallelujah, everybody sing it, hallelujah, hallelujah, make me sing, oh yeah, I say let me sing, oh yeah,
na mufisa me hwiase me koya masamba hwe ahokyere kakra be fa munti ne wo mo se ma wai me ni dama woni na ewuo no na mufisa me yesanseni hwe uhumi ana wo ye ma hyew afede weni bo me so pe na bo se hwan poni na ne nyame ne nsa no afede wo humi tutu mana mo se me ye jonki ne sabu se bu kebi shame on you too afede me hu se me makobole yonki hwe no hwe ne mu se monkey if I check I dey say you dey hungry why you yanka wo da social boski me wu ye de na ne nyame te ase wo ne menye pe go bia ne viase mana me da bench so wa fla wo no wo bia for handkerchief from the pameni ase
wo pe mo anyo menyi na edi
what else
na nyame ni awaka no ne bebe mo wo ma usa swabi ponyi na tutu so my party don't lose God can walk for my door everybody sing it hallelujah, hallelujah, everybody sing it hallelujah, hallelujah, make me sing oh yeah, I say let me sing oh yeah,
my win chime 10 years me wanka way back my flop it this be my payback my enemies if for they God men care so I don't want to disobey God my try some of them me to prison wa bra mo ni particular reason mo dwe me ho me need to go for your meeting fatu wasum I don't want to be repeating nya me na ebo me ho ban ti munye foko money no be problem ya no ni me moto to when hwe me ho na mani ni me shoto me mo we ninje wa chena me don't know
ona wo boss na sansi ne munya menti na ya fra wo adona in your mawaya mami ni me busia funa so many bebrente I won't lie una wo boss na sansi ne munya menti na ya fra wo adona in your mawaya mami ni me busia fonira
This is Star Radio UK.
Ọmọ Yorùbá ẹ ronú àti sọ́fà bó ti pẹ́. Ọmọ Yorùbá ẹ ronú àti sọ́fà bó ti pẹ́. Àsìkò tẹ̀wá ti tó ká fọwọ́sowọ́pọ̀ ṣẹ́gbọ́n. Àsìkò tẹ̀wá ti tó ká fọwọ́sowọ́pọ̀ ṣẹ́gbọ́n. bá gbọ́ mi lórílẹ̀ ayé pátá. Igi gogoro má fún mi lójú bó ṣe máa ń wí. Àtòkèrè ló yẹ kí olójú ti lọ wáyé. Láti kékeré láti pẹ̀ka ìrókò tó bá yá. Ìbá ti dàgbà ó dájú pé pa òrùlé ká. Ọmọ Yorùbá ṣẹ̀ ń gbọ́ mi àbí kì í dákẹ́jẹ́. Má sọ̀rọ̀ lọ àbáfẹ́ àbí ohun àgógó. Ọmọ Yorùbá ṣẹ̀ ń gbọ́ mi àbí kì í dákẹ́jẹ́. Má sọ̀rọ̀ lọ àbáfẹ́ àbí ohun àgógó. Kí ló dé táwọn Yorùbá kì í fìyà jẹ wá? Ọmọ òpè tí mo fẹ́ forin fọ́gbà yọ̀ǹda wáráyé. Ìṣọ̀kan òsín mọ́ làwọn ọmọ Yorùbá kí ló dé? Àmúfun ẹ̀rù ẹ̀wọ̀ ẹ̀jẹ̀ káwọ́ sàlẹ̀ wọn. Ọ̀dàlẹ̀ yìí ti pọ̀ jù ó yẹ kí ẹ jáwọ́. Ọ̀dàlẹ̀ ò lè ládùúgbò kan kí wọ́n tètè ìgbẹ́sẹ̀ sí. Ẹni bá dalẹ̀ Yorùbá fẹ́ kálàlẹ̀ yìí ti kú. Máa ń sojojo fún wọn kó da kókòrò létí tẹ́. Ẹnu ọmọ Yorùbá kì í kó sí nǹkan rere. Pẹ̀tẹ́pẹ̀tẹ́ tí mo bá yan ní pàpà ẹni tó bá bá bóyá ìyá kó lọ sí ìṣẹ́. Torí pé ọ̀rọ̀ ṣì ń bọ̀ ó lọ́jọ́ iwájú. Ọmọ Yorùbá ṣe ń dáná
This is Star Radio UK.
Ọmọ Yorùbá ṣe dákẹ́ àbí kí tẹ̀síwájú. Má sọ̀rọ̀ lọ àbábẹ́ àdìgbò àgbogbo. Wọ́n mẹ́ta ni mo mọ̀ tó jẹ́ Yorùbá rú. Wínísìmọ̀tò Abíọ́lá ẹ̀jẹ̀ tètè borí sọ. Ẹ̀sìn àjèjì pẹ̀lú òṣèlú àti ká máa gbà fúnra wa. Òjò ní èmi òjò ẹ̀yìn Yorùbá ń bá ká. Tó bá dọ̀rọ̀ òṣèlú wọn kì í pọn ọmọ ìyá wọn. Táwọn sábà sọ pé lọ́la náà lájẹ́. Ọmọ Yorùbá lọ̀dàlẹ̀ tó dalẹ̀ ara wọn. Ẹ̀sìn àjèjì òjò jẹ́ kẹ́nu wọn lè kó rárá mọ́. Mùsùlùmí pẹ̀lú ẹlẹ́sìn Kírísítẹ́nì ẹ̀ súnmọ́ bí. Ẹ̀sìn ò sọ pé ká gbà pé orísun èrò wa. Jẹ́ kí n máa sọ̀rọ̀ lọ àbí kí n dákẹ́ jẹ́. Máa sọ̀rọ̀ lọ àbábẹ́ àdìgbò àgbogbo. Jẹ́ kí n máa sọ̀rọ̀ lọ ní àbí kí n dákẹ́ fẹ́. Máa sọ̀rọ̀ lọ àbábẹ́ àdìgbò àgbogbo. Ó ti yá alágbogbo kí n gbọ́. Àgbogbo ìkìlọ̀ ni ẹ má lè gbọ́ bá a ṣe fọ́n rere. Alájà Ìsìmọ̀tò Abíọ́lá. Paramount kùnà fún àkànní ní gbogbo US pátápátá. Ló sọ pé alágbogbo kí n gbọ́. Àgbogbo ìkìlọ̀ ni ẹ má lè gbọ́ bá a ṣe fọ́n rere. Gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá ìyáǹde àwọn ọmọ tẹ́ ẹ bí. Ìyáǹde àwọn ọkọ tẹ́ ẹ fẹ́. Ebi ń pa àwọn ya tẹ́ ẹ fẹ́. Ìyáǹde àwọn ọmọ tẹ́ ẹ bí. Ìyáǹde àwọn ọkọ tẹ́ ẹ ní. Ebi ń pa àwọn ya tẹ́ ẹ fẹ́. Torí pé tẹ́ àgbẹ̀ kan tẹ́ ẹ ní. Ẹ ò lè déjì ẹ̀ mọ́ nítorí Fúlàní ìfi màálù jókòó tí a dá. Kàkà kẹ́pà ló pọ̀jọ́ fi inú yín. Kẹwọ́ solution sí fúnra yín. Ẹ̀wọ́ bìkítà ẹ̀kọ́ tí ì fún. Ó ti wá.
24/7. Yes, as we are just about to kickstart, I say a very good evening and welcome to Star Radio UK.
Ọmọ pẹ̀lú alágbogbo kò wọ́n ti. Àgbogbo ìkìlọ̀ ni ẹ má lè gbọ́ bá a ṣe fọ́n rere. Ọ̀rọ̀ yìí ti wá pọ̀ jù pọ̀tẹ́ rí. Fúlàní ti ń jalè àwọn dúkìá wa. Wọ́n ti ń pa pàjùwà lọ́mọgbé. Wọ́n ti ń pa pàjùwà lọ́kọ̀gbé. Wọ́n ti ń pa pàjùwà láyàgbé. Wọ́n ní kó tètè lọ́wọ́ owó wá.
Welcome to Star Radio UK. It is your finest African and Caribbean radio station as we are just preparing for the Wednesday edition of the program.
Wọ́n ò kàn ṣe nítorí òṣèlú ṣẹláyé ibi. Yorùbá ń jìyà lórílẹ̀ wọn. Àwọn olódìdẹ.
I say welcome as you are just settling in. I say welcome. It is Star Radio UK. We're just kicking start.
Ṣé alágbogbo dùn kí n gbọ́? Àgbogbo ìkìlọ̀ ni ẹ má pẹ̀ ń gbọ́ bá a ṣe fọ́n rere. Gbogbo àwọn tó ti sùn ẹ lágbogbo fún wọn kí wọ́n ó jí. Ó ti yá alágbogbo dùn kí n gbọ́. Àgbogbo ìkìlọ̀ ni ẹ má pẹ̀ ń gbọ́ bá a ṣe fọ́n rere. Fúlàní ń dẹran joko tí a dá. Bàbá tún sọ̀rọ̀ ṣe náà fakọ́yọ́. Àgàgà tẹ́fẹ́ ti ẹ̀pà gbófinró. Olóko ní òjìyà ayéwé yá. Tòtítọ́ lẹ ti sùn ó yẹ kí ẹ jí. tó ti gbé pa òní bá oró mọ́ nígboro ìgbọ̀ngàn ẹ wo tí ojú rí Ìbàràpá lápapọ̀ ẹ wo tí ojú rí Fúlàní ti fẹ̀mí ṣòfò gan ó ti tó gẹ́ ẹ wo nǹkan tó ṣẹlẹ̀ nǹkan tí a gbọ́ Dr. Aborode dẹ́kun wọn máa jẹ́ kó ń ló bá sọ̀rọ̀ bí kò ti jẹ́ náà níṣe ni wọ́n ṣapá ẹ̀rí pé ojú rí ìjọba ò sọ̀rọ̀ kankan nígbà yẹn sí àwa rẹ̀ ní tó dìde tó ṣe bí olórí Sunday Adéyẹmọ ìbò òdìdé sí wọn ṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ wá rojọ́ kò fẹ́ jà dúró ó ti yá alágbogbo dùn kí n gbọ́
Agogo ìkìlọ̀ ni
ẹ má gbẹ̀ ń gbọ́ bá a ṣe ń fọ́ rere. Ìwé ní Símọ̀tù Àbákẹ́ Paramount Queen of Waka o. Alágbogbo dùn kí n gbọ́.
agogo ìkìlọ̀ ni
Ẹ má gbẹ̀ ń gbọ́ bá a ṣe ń fọ́ rere. Torí egungun ẹja ni.
ilé kan ò gbọdọ̀ ṣe o.
Paramount Queen of Waka egungun ẹja ni o.
Ilé kan ò gbọ́dọ̀ ṣe o. Egungun tí a gbé kọ́ ajá lọ́rùn. Ajá ò gbọ́dọ̀ jẹ́ kó gbọ́dọ̀ sọnù o. Sunday Adéyẹmọ Ìgbòho ṣá. Egungun
I say good evening and welcome to Star Radio UK. It is your finest African and Caribbean radio station in London, and we are just making sure that all the platforms are ready to go through this evening program. It is the 6th of October 2021. I would like to first say good evening to my listeners and followers from around the globe. I welcome you all as you're settling into the broadcast. We hope to drive you home. It is going to be another edition of this fantastic program that comes to you every Wednesday in the last 4 years. I wouldn't have been able to do this without saying kudos to my producer that have been working tirelessly behind the scene, Frank and Archie. To all the Star Radio presenter, I say kudos to each and every one of us. But the best way to listen to us is to make sure that you download our apps, you follow us on all our social media handles. Star Radio UK is on all the platforms from Facebook. We're on Facebook, and likewise we are also on the Twitter. A lot of people could not access their phone about 72 hours ago. What was your reaction? Digital transformation. That is the conversation this evening. So many of us got stuck because we couldn't do much. How did you react to the shutdown of WhatsApp and Instagram and Facebook? I picked up that information during a live transmission just at about 4:45. Digital transformation is what we are discussing this evening. Did Nigeria miss the digital transformation? Once again, this is
In your car,
At work,
at home,
on your smartphone.
It is in your car, on your smartphone. You can download it. You can listen to us through our apps. And you can also watch it live for those of you from around the globe. This is Star Radio UK. We are live on Twitter at Star Radio UK. So when you're looking for it on Twitter, it is spelled as STARRADIOUK. You can send us information at info@starradiouk.com. This is your finest African and Caribbean radio station in London. Once again, thank you very much to each and every one of you that join us every Wednesday. Last week Wednesday, we were broadcasting from outside and we could not complete the 2-hour slot. But this evening, be rest assured, I'll be driving you home. Looking at my clock, is exactly 10 minutes past 6 p.m. We will probably say 10 minutes past 1800 hours. Digital transformation. Did Nigeria miss the opportunity to transform Nigeria to the digital world? Why are so many Nigerians still backwards when we talk about digital transformation? Who should we blame? Should we blame the government? Should we blame the citizen? Should we blame the elite that refused to do the right thing to make sure that every Nigerian born into Nigeria is given the same opportunity when we talk about the digital transformation? This is what we're going to be looking at this evening. This afternoon, I was somewhere in central, well, not literally central London, but I was somewhere in one of the event center that was taking place today. And I'm sure some of you that was watching it, if you haven't watched it, for those of you that missed it, you can just type in Koiki on Facebook and or Koiki Media, and that will bring that up, and you can watch all the activities that took place. Niger Voices on Star Radio UK. It is your finest African and Caribbean radio station in London. I can monitor all your comment as it's coming through, and I'll be reading some of those comments out in due course. Let's finish this track.
Bàbá wa ò ní ọ̀fíìsẹ̀ egungun ẹja ni o. Kíníkan ò gbọ́dọ̀ ṣe o. Olúgbọ́n ilé gbọ́n egungun ẹja ni. Kíníkan ò gbọ́dọ̀ ṣe o. Alákẹ́tìjú ẹ̀dá egungun ẹja ni o. Kíníkan ò gbọ́dọ̀ ṣe o.
One thing is, let's first talk about what is going on in Benin Republic with Chief Sunday Adeyemo, popularly known as SKA Igbowosha. I call him the Imole Yoruba. What is going on? What do we know? What can we tell you? What can we share with those of you that are watching us from different parts of the globe this evening? Why is Chief Sunday Igboho still being held in Benin Republic? What has he done? What offense has he committed that the country refused to allow him to go? What crime has he committed, whether in Nigeria or outside Nigeria? Sorry about that, those of you watching us. What offense has he committed? What do we know? What can we share with those of you that are worried about Chief Sunday Adeyemo Igboho? All we can tell us is he needs a medical attention ASAP. And we're using this medium again to plead with President Talon, Patrick Talon, the president of the Benin Republic, to allow Chief Sunday Adeyemo Igboho to seek a medical support as quickly as possible. It is very urgent. And we know that a country that is well civilized, that respect the human right of the citizens, a country that is promoting a well presentable country to the global community with integrity, we believe that the President Patrick Talon and the government of Benin Republic will grant Chief Sunday Adeyemo, popularly known as AKA Igbowosha, to allow him to seek medical support due to his health. So let's come back to the conversation here. It is still Star Radio UK. Digital transformation. What went wrong? What went wrong? We've got a country where we have hundreds, millions that are well educated. whether in every sector that you can think of. When we go back to just during the regional government of the late Chief Obafemi Awolowo, we were told that we had television before France. That was a digital transformation. That was a digital transformation. What went wrong? Why are we still backwards? Who take the blame? Who is responsible for the reason that so many Nigerians today do not have access to the basic digital transformation of their lives? When I was trying to get into the event center, I was told to show some field documents. And all I did was just bring out my mobile phone, and right there and there, I was able to present it, and they were able to scan it, and there we go. Boom! I was already inside. But in 21st century, we have terrorists operating with impunity in Nigeria today. And we've not been able to use the latest digital innovation to track them, to bring them to justice. But rather, millions of Nigerians are now being trapped in a system that does not even know the total population of the country. Rather, we are being deceived that the northern part of the country has the bigger numbers. But we know that in 1959, all that was cooked up by Great Britain to give leverage to the northerners as against those other contestants in that 1959 election that led to the 1960 independence. So my question is, what went wrong? Was it the military era that destabilized the digital transformation of Nigeria? Why are we still in an analog stage in 21st century? If I wanted to apply for a Nigerian passport in UK, I'm sure some of you have gone through those experiences. What was your experience like for those of you in Nigeria or those of you listening to me outside Nigeria when you wanted to apply for your passport? What was your experience like? What was your own experience in getting a basic Nigerian passport? I say it's basic because the passport does not have any usefulness than allow you to just travel from point A to B, but does not guarantee a visa to you for those of you in Nigeria, because the other part of the globe know that Nigeria is going drain, and you will become one of those that have run out of the country like some of us and refuse to come back home. But once some of us want to come back home, the country is just not durable for us to come back home. So who should we blame for the digital transformation of Nigeria? At some point we were told we have the telecom that was sold to all their crooks and cronies. You all remember fella Nicola Kokuti, International TT, ITT, International TT, International Rogue. Let's fast forward. The Nigerian Airway. What went wrong? When you look at the Ethiopian airline, it's one of the best across the globe. What can we say with our local government that does not have the basic necessary website? Can somebody tell me if any of the 774 local government in Nigeria have up-to-date website, which we can just check now, for those of you that are watching us from different part of the globe? Good evening to my family watching all the way, both here in UK and in Nigeria. I can see them watching on Instagram. I say good evening to you. And to the rest of you, I say welcome. Who should we blame? The religious center that have a magnificent building. They have everything you can think of when you walk into those religious centers. They are so beautiful, they are magnificent. But what happened when the congregation finished on a Sunday in the church, on a Friday in the mosque, or for those that are in the traditional way of life? How do you then communicate back to your members? So many lives got changed during the COVID-19. More people are now using tech to shop, to order food, to book airline tickets, to communicate and do logistics across the globe. Can you guarantee that you can send a post from Lagos to get to Kano the next day? Or same day if it's possible? I can literally send a letter right from here to Mayegun in Scotland, and I can guarantee that if the letter does not get to him to the next day, then there must be a different problem. But millions of Nigerians are waking up every day, do not even understand why has the country not been transformed into the digital era. Are you a student? Are you one of those lecturers? And you're wondering why you don't have internet to communicate to your students? What is going on in Nigeria? I remember so many times I've been asked if I wanted to do a postal voting or online voting in UK. The topic this evening is, did Nigeria, as Nigeria, miss that digital era? And can we still get to that digital era, or is it time now to say, let us close the shop? All the politicians have literally kept every Nigerian into the analog stage. I was able to receive a picture of one of the national leader of APC in 2021. Whether it was done for him, whether people did it for him, still distributing, you know, those leaflets, you know, those, is it 20, you know, leaflet book that we were using during the primary school days, when students in the primary school in UK and different part of the globe are being given tablets to work on. I was being told by a family friend some few days ago that schools in UK sometimes try to let the parent to bring back their students, or their children rather, back to school. Rather than allowing them to change the school, they will offer them a brand new iPad. Do you understand what that means? Is somebody with me? Are you all with me this evening? 2023 is what the politicians are more concerned. Can I easily zoom into Oyo State and be able to pick up all the information I need as somebody traveling to Nigeria for the very first time? Digital transformation. Is that possible? Who should we blame? Who is responsible? This is Niger Voices on Star Radio UK. It is your finest African and Caribbean radio station in London. Many lives could not get a good medical support. Let me give you an example. If I was meant to travel down to Wales, as an example, and kudos to everyone that came out for the October 1st rally in different part of the globe, whether in a country called Nigeria, for those of you that couldn't do it but you were able to follow it online, or for those in Canada, in America, in Italy, in Malaysia, in Japan, in Cote d'Ivoire, in Benin Republic, wherever it is that you were able to do your own little input. The question is, Do you think we can continue with Nigeria the way it is? Some say it's all about the leadership. Digital transformation. They couldn't find the president's school card. Do you understand what that means? President Muhammadu Buhari's school card was nowhere to be found during the campaign. Dapo Abiodun could not defend his qualification on Channels television during the campaign. This is a governor now. Most of them cannot even defend those qualifications. What went wrong? Why is it difficult that I can have access to data, but the country is still thinking about the crude oil? When Facebook went down 72 hours ago, do you know how much Facebook was losing every hour? Do you have an idea what Facebook was losing in terms of revenue? My question then is, what actually is Facebook selling? What is Facebook selling to us? What is WhatsApp selling to us? What is Instagram selling to us? Because these three platforms is owned by one person. I have a family that is able to sell their wares just on the mobile phone. It doesn't have to leave the house. All it does is the mobile phone connected to the internet and is selling its goods. Can you do the same thing in Nigeria today? Do you have electricity? What about your health care? I was talking about going to Wales, and if anything should happen to me while in Wales, I can guarantee that they can have access to my GP, which you call your doctors, back here in England, just to check my record. What is wrong with me without leaving Wales? Can you, watching me right now, say, if you travel out of Kwara State and you end up in Osun State, and for whatever reason you have a slight headache and you end up in the general hospital, can they pull up your file in your hometown in Kwara State right on the screen to determine what is wrong with you? Digital transformation. Can we still fix Nigeria is the question a lot of people are asking. And my answer is, it is too late to repair the damage that Nigeria have done to millions of Nigerians. As I speak to you right now, at exactly 18:29 p.m., there are millions of Nigerians held up in the IDP, and nobody knows why they're there, apart from the government refuse to tell us, what do you know about NASCO? Have you read those reports? NASCO produce conflicts, medical, they're into real estate, confessionaries, but they've been sponsoring terrorists for a very long time, and they are based in Plateau State in Jos. And yet, the president of Nigeria and his whole cabinet refuse to give us names of those behind the Boko Haram. But someone was able to tell us something before he died. He was able to give us a background to some of the sponsors of Boko Haram. But his life was cut short. I'm sure some of you know the person I'm talking about. His life was cut short just about some 3 weeks ago now. I'm talking about no one than Dr. Malafia Obadia. Let's hear him.
Revelations, because some of us was intelligence networks.
Okay.
Have met with some of the bandits. We have met with some of their high commanders. One or two who have repented. They have sat down with us, not once, not twice. They told us that one of the northern governors is the commander of Boko Haram in Nigeria. Boko Haram and the bandits are one and the same thing. They have a sophisticated network. During this lockdown, their planes were moving up and down as though there was no lockdown. Moving ammunitions, moving logistics, moving money, and distributing them in different parts of the country. They're already in the south.
Let me just pause it there. Do you think that if we were up to date in digital transformation, if truly Nigeria was one united country, as we are being told, even though we know and we realize that the nepotism of a government that refused to allow other tribes, ethnic groups to be given the juicy position, only the Fulanis and the Hausas have been given, the top position in the military era and during the civilian era. And the question then is, who is fooling who? And there are so many Nigerians that still believe that the country can be rectified. Someone is just asking, do we have any emergency services number? Can you guarantee that when you go on the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway or you go through Kaduna-Ibadan or the Abuja-Zamfara, Owerri, any of the road network in Nigeria, can you dial a number should you run into a terrorist? Can you just say, hello, I've been kidnapped? But we have seen terrorists making phone call back to demand money from your loved ones. Digital transformation is what we are discussing this evening. It's on Star Radio UK, your finest African and Caribbean radio station in
your car,
at work,
at home,
on your smartphone.
In your car,
at work,
at home,
on your smartphone.
In your car, on your smartphone. It is Star Radio UK. A lot of Nigerians do not understand why someone just had a slight accident with your car and you cannot claim insurance on that vehicle. There are just so many multiple problems that the Fulani and the Hausa holding you refuse to rectify for a very long time, because the power was literally handed over to them by the British government. This is Star Radio UK. So my question is, do you believe that we can still rectify Nigeria? Let's hear more.
The rainforests of the south, they're everywhere. They told us that when they finish these rural killings, they will move to phase 2. The phase 2 is they will go into the urban cities, going from house to house, killing prominent people. I can tell you, this is the game plan. By 2022, they want to start a civil war in Nigeria.
By 2022, they want to start a civil war in Nigeria. Should we be concerned? Should we be worried? Or should we just say, okay, it might not happen? It's just another doomsday. Should we be worried? This is the time to speak up before it is too late. There are so many individuals that have been labeled as terrorists, but yet the actual terrorist is still operating in Nigeria with impunity. We have Ifeoluwa, Lady K, Amudat, we have Jamiu, Noah, we have Omoyele Sowore, we have Nnamdi Kanu. Daddy Yatta can no longer be found 2 years down the line. So many political prisoner of conscience have been kept by the DSS. But the same DSS that have all the technology, according to what we are told, cannot track a phone call between a terrorist and the end user that is delivering the money in any of the states in Nigeria as I speak to you right now. Who is fooling who? Is that the way we're going to continue to live in denial that Nigeria is working? Or should we say, it is time to rethink and ask ourselves the truth. If Nigeria would ever work again. But the Vice President, Professor Yemi Osibajo, a senior advocate of Nigeria, says Nigeria can still be rescued. We can rescue Nigeria, so why bother? A picture was sent to me today, the 6th of October in 2018. Same day in 2018, I was in Nigeria. This time 3 years ago, I was in Nigeria. And I had opportunity to attend the Omoyele Sowore political party then, during their, was it the neck in Ikeja. And when that picture was sent to me, and I said to myself, wow, 3 years ago, just like that. But one thing that brought up or started coming through my mind is Nigerians did not believe that Sowore could turn things around, even though Sowore was already operating on a kind of digital with his media known as Sahara Reporter. But we were more better off to give it to Buhari, that we could not even know at what level of his education. And if he doesn't have a level of education, from what we are told, that he was a general that knew how to deal with the Boko Haram. And 6 years down the line of this government, my question is, what has the general done to turn things around? But we now realize that they were also part and parcel of these terrorists operating with impunity in Nigeria. If you have not read the NASCO article by David, I would advise you to please do so. Do so, because so many information with names, details, timing, and even the American government knew about NASCO. But one thing that touched my mind is the Bush administration confiscated all the property investment of NASCO, but only to come back and lift that embargo without any knowledge of millions of people that noticed about it or that knew about it prior to when they were labeled. So, is the government of America playing something that we do not know with NASCO? NASCO is, like I said earlier, they produce quite a lot of things in Nigeria. A lot of Nigerians have invested in it, but you're actually investing in a terrorist organization. Thank you very much to Francis Omaga, watching live from Anguzo in Enugu State, the Biafra land of. Good evening from here. Good evening to you as well. You might want to tell us where you're watching from. I say good evening to those of you on Instagram, on YouTube, on the MixLR. This is Star Radio UK. It is your finest African and Caribbean radio station in London. We're just about 20 minutes before 7. At 7 o'clock, we change the conversation to 2023. Is around the corner. The gladiator are moving. I saw Bukola Saraki, the former Senate president and the former governor that could not provide a basic toilet while he was the governor of the state to host the institution, higher institution or the primary schools during a time. But he's gone back to his local government to renew his membership for PDP. Are you aware that the daughter just completed her education here in United Kingdom at the London School of Economics, which is about one of the top university here in UK? Even 2 weeks ago now, the Kano State Governor, son, graduated from Regent University. A 3-year course would have cost him 43 million naira, because it's about 18,500 pounds a year without accommodation, food and other basic allowance. Do you have the same opportunity as a Nigerian watching me right now in Nigeria? Do you have the same opportunity? A very good evening to you, Timitakboke. Good evening to you, every single one of you watching us, listening. Digital transformation. Did Nigeria miss that opportunity? Has Nigeria missed the digital transformation? And is it possible to rectify it, or it is too late to say, you know what, let us do the right thing and demand a full referendum? But millions of people still believe in that country you call Nigeria. Millions of people believe in it. The elite, the poor, those that have and those that doesn't have, they believe that the reason why Nigeria is where it is today is because there's a kind of a devil somewhere, sitting on top of Nigeria. That there's a kind of a witchcraft sitting in their local government that does not want that digital transformation to get in. That there's a kind of, how do I want to even explain it? That in 21st century, in 2021, millions of Nigerians are going to bed without quality education, security, healthcare, welfare. Your lifespan is becoming very, very short because you're spending more time in the traffic. This is Star Radio UK. Good evening to you, to our mother, and every one of you on the YouTube. Are we under pressure, or is it the same jaga jaga that we've heard about Nigeria? Let's get you the next track. I'm sure some of you have listened to it. I said thank you very much again to my producer Frank and Archie. Tomorrow is going to be the property hour. Make sure you do be part of it. We don't even have the opportunity to use technology to grow the food that we can eat. And as I speak to you today, Nigeria still remains the poverty capital of the world. Let's hear Still Day Jaga Jaga Fix Otta Road by Abdul Karim Idris.
President Obasanjo lo ọdún mẹ́jọ níjọba. Amosun use Ọ̀tà revenue build Abẹ́òkúta. Dàpọ̀ Abíọ́dún fi owó Ọ̀tà kọ́ Ìjẹ̀bú. Ọ̀tà second highest industrialized local government. See the jaga jaga, yeah. Still there, yama yama.
to that song, you would start thinking Ota Road, Enugwinewi Road, Anambra Road, Kaduna Road, Zamfara Road, all these highway that should have been transformed to a digital level is still backwards in 21st century. Nigeria jaga jaga.
Kejana, the first industrialized local government where they survive Nigeria. Otana, the second industrialized local government with
Understand that Ota is the second industrialized local government, but today you have spent more time in the traffic. As I speak right now, just some 15-13 minutes to 7, those making their way home will probably get home just before midnight. And that is why most of you have heart attack.
Nigeria, but all government officials just they come there, they collect the money. See the road still jaga jaga. Everywhere still yama yama. Fashola super minister tell.
Fashola, the super minister, the investigative journalist, or no, detective. We are now cut down, just to remind you that on the 20th of October, last year, hundreds of innocent Nigerians were killed by the same Nigerian government, even in the midst of holding a Nigerian flag. Isaleko Barack Obama. Thank you very much. Thank you for reminding me that. Good evening to you, my beautiful mother. Good evening to you, all our mothers, our fathers that are watching us. When we go to the next segment, we will open the phone line for those of you that might want to call in. 2023. When you're calling the studio, remember this is a studio, so please do not use those kind of language that we will use when we are running our own program. So I'm going to open the phone line at 7 o'clock so that you can contribute. But like I said, there's certain words we cannot use on the radio. So I'm sure you will understand what I mean by that. But we can tell them it is jaga jaga. Hey, say that.
Way from Ota. Buhari is only building railway where they carry and they go Niger. I no blame Buhari. I swear I blame Obasanjo.
Idris say he no blame Buhari, is blaming Obasanjo that cannot fix Ota Road. And my question to those of you that are watching us is, beat your chest and say we can still fix Nigeria. Yeah, Chief Sunday Igboho's health is still critical. We talked about that at the beginning of the program. We'll be discussing that. We're not taking the calls yet, so please do not call. It's going to be at 7 o'clock. So we still got about 13 minutes. At 7 o'clock, we open the phone line and we're going to be discussing everything about the 2023. Can Nigeria be restructured? That's what the Afenifere are saying. The self-determination. The Northerners are saying, no, we are not giving the presidency back to the north, to the south. The rotation hasn't been completed. We still have 4 years to go. Can we allow another election to hold? Is the election going to solve the problem? All these I'll be, when we open the phone line at 7 o'clock. But like I said, when you're calling, please be mindful of the language that we will be using, because it is not the other platform. You know the other platform, my platform. Yes, you know what I mean. Let's see a little bit more from this.
He doesn't even answer anybody.
President Obasanjo.
More Nigerians are still suffering from the atrocity, the carnage, the killings that took place at the Lekki massacre. We will continue to remember them. Sunday coming, we're heading to Glasgow for the Yoruba Mega Rally. We've been doing Niger Voices for the last 4 years. How many of you know that? I keep saying that all the time. Do I? Okay. 4 years ago, we kicked the start and we've been discussing everything under pressure in the country called Nigeria. Chief Sunday Igboho's health is critical, like I said in our statement, and we're using again the Benin Republic to allow him to seek a medical attention. Good evening, Ganio Abiodun. I'll say more good evening to those of you that are watching us on Star Radio UK. Good evening, Olaleye Ademola. So you can also go on Star Radio UK. Let me say good evening to you as well. The Kano State Governor son schooled in UK. It cost 43 million naira. You know what we could have transformed water to if truly Nigeria was working under a digital transformation. I love the way in that video why Obasanjo was, throwing his hand like that,
Togofu road, I read anything, I feel suit at the cold. One leg poster,
I'm sure some of those posters of APC, PDP will be coming closer to you now. Hey, look at them. Hey, election 2023. I don't think so. I say good evening to all our brothers and sisters, our fathers, our mothers, all our lecturers, all our advisors, and everyone that says Yoruba Nation now, Biafra Nation now, even the Arewa. Let everybody go, and then we can decide if we want to buy groundnut. I will import the groundnut from them, but rather than bringing the groundnut, but also bringing AK-47 with it. When I was at the Excel Center, I was like, okay, this is good. This CCTV is good, but we haven't got electricity to power it on for 24 hours. I was watching a movie on Netflix, and the guy, each time they're going on these, I'm not going to give you the name of the film, but each time they're going out there, let me just give you a little bit background of that. Each time they're going out to do operation, he's always using his drone, to first check, let me see what is going on in the front. A lot of, I remember when I was in Nigeria for the 6 months, people were saying to me, Yomi, let's use drone, to track down, these, terrorists coming onto our land, and, we can easily sit them in advance. I would have loved us to do so, but we don't have that digital transformation. So we end up like, okay, drone needs internet. And how do you connect the internet when we don't have the infrastructure in place? It is only in Nigeria that somebody is next to you, you make a phone call, they cannot hear you. It is only in Nigeria. Do you have electricity? Is water coming through? Can you guarantee that your life is secure currently with the position of things in Nigeria? I don't know. Are we under pressure? 6 minutes before the hour. The quote of today is, you shall be blessed, but prepare yourself of time to be able to carry the blessings. Let me give you that again. 6th of October, you shall be blessed, but prepare yourself ahead of time to be able to carry out. All right, since some of the calls are coming through, let's say, like I say, please let us be mindful, when your call is coming through. Let's go to the first caller coming all the way from Germany. Hello, good evening, caller. And please reduce the other volume of whatever you're listening with us. Good evening. You're welcome to Star Radio UK.
Hello, sir.
Hello, good evening. You're welcome to this program, sir.
Mr. Koiki, I really appreciate all what you're doing.
Thank you very much.
You are a blessing to this generation, to be sincere.
Thank you, sir.
My prayer for you, by the time we get to the promised land, you shall not be found wanting.
Amen. Thank you.
Because these people that we are dealing with, they are blood suckers. We have to be very careful. They are blood suckers. Any day I check through the internet, let me say just use that word, the internet, if I look back, I don't even know what else our huge back home. I don't even know what else
They're waiting for.
they are waiting for.
Yeah.
That is my problem.
Yeah, I can imagine.
I spoke to a friend this afternoon. He works in local government. I will not mention it.
No, don't mention, please. Don't mention there. Yeah. That's fine. Yeah.
You know, we need to see what Nigeria is feeling.
We're still in a dark age. Digital transformation. What can you tell us, sir? When we talk about the digital transformation, did we miss the opportunity to have digitalized the whole country, even though we know the country has already fallen apart? What can you tell us? During your time in Nigeria or after your time living in Nigeria, you wanted to do business in Nigeria. A lot of Nigerians have set up something in Nigeria, but you cannot monitor it because the digital transformation is just not there. If I set up a business in Germany, I can link to know what is happening on the seconds to seconds in Germany without any kind of interruption.
Oh, God. I don't know what else our youth needs to hear about.
We're trying.
That you've not mentioned.
We're
because
trying.
you went to a plaza
Yeah.
shopping mall this afternoon.
Yeah.
Anytime you are doing a program, I could be straight. Start watching. You know? Sometimes I put in my comments, sometimes I don't. You know,
We're
I
trying.
just send-
We're trying.
I just try to press the
We have
like
to,
button and all
we have
that.
to keep educating our people at
I don't
home.
know what else I would have.
Yeah, you're right. Amadebe, we get there. Yeah, you can speak a bit of our language. You know, it's not like you can't speak the language. Our language is allowed. You know, I will just try and translate to those that are non-Yorubas. You know, that are listening to us in different part of African countries around the globe. I mean, yeah, you can speak our language if you want to. Yeah. I can imagine. Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah, it's everyone. Yeah.
We are still, in fact, I don't know. I don't know when we are going to get straight.
We
That's
will.
my problem.
We won't give up. That's all I can say. We will not give up, and we must not give up. I'm going to play what Professor Akintoye put out in the last on the 4th of October. Maybe after this call, and then we'll just hear what he says in terms of what we should be expecting out of the UN and other areas of what is going on. But the most important thing is, you must listen to us. Nigeria cannot be digitalized. Nigeria is, even Sanusi himself, the former emir of Kano, says Nigeria is about 40 years behind. Do you understand what that means? 40 years behind. I'm already 40 plus, and if we're 40 years behind, we should be crying.
Oh my God.
We get there. Thank you very much, Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Good evening. Well, you also can add your voice. I mean, you're not restricted from not speaking our language. I will just try to translate it back to some of our listeners and audience that are not Yoruba, so that I don't want you to feel uncomfortable that if I called, am I going to have to speak English? Please do call Ekwe, and then we can hear. But the most important thing is, let us remember, this is not Koiki Media. This is Star Radio UK, and there's some words, and I'm sure you all understand what I mean by that. So let's go straight. Do we still have that call, or we missed it? Let's see. Okay, we still have the call there. It's for a call from UK. A very good evening and welcome to Star Radio UK.
Good evening, sir.
Ekabo. Yeah, good evening. Go ahead.
Àwọn màmá wa, àwọn bọ́dà wa, wọ́n wà ní oko ìlànà ọ̀sìn kọ́kọ́ kòkò, àwọn tó wà ní oko ní ìjọba, àwọn tó wà ní oko tẹ̀gbẹ́. Ètò ẹ jẹ́ ká jókòó ká ro. Ẹ má jẹ́ ká wo ọ̀la, wọ́n ní èní àwọn àtẹ̀lélẹ́gbẹ́ ọ̀la ló ti wà lọ. Ẹ tó bá sùn tó jí, òun ló mọ ọ̀la tó fún owó ọ̀rọ̀ tá a rò pa ní bá sùn. Bá jí òun la rántí. Tí ìta bá wà lórí ìjókòó yìí, táyé tó bá ń sùn, tó bá jí táyé, tó bá sáré gbogbo ẹ̀ lọ. Ó jẹ́ ká mọ àwọn ènìyàn tí wọ́n pa sí ẹran. Ṣé àwọn bàbá wa, àwọn ìyá tó kò rí wọn lára ni? Tí wọn ò fira wọn sínú pòsíṣàn àwọn ẹ̀yìn. Pé ọmọ kékeré wọn sá wẹ́lẹ́wẹ́lẹ́, wọ́n gbé orí èèyàn, wọ́n gbé dárí, wọ́n gbá orí èèyàn ní bọ́ọ̀lù. Ṣé nígbà tí mo rí pé wọ́n ní àwọn èèyàn jẹ́ pé tó bá ti jẹ́ pé ẹ̀wọ̀n kan ni wọ́n àwọn yóò ní fìlì ẹ̀wọ̀n. Ó ní mo mọ̀ pé àwọn bàbá wa, àwọn ìyá wa, àwọn ènìyàn ni wọ́n máa ń gbé níwọ̀n àwọn oúnjẹ wọn kù. Tó yẹ kó ní wọn lára kọ́ gbogbo mo láti ṣe fáwọn ọmọ wa yìí, mo láti gbèjà àwọn ọmọ wa yìí. Ọmọ jẹ́ ká kó ọjọ́ ọ̀la wa sí abẹ́ ìbàdàn fún àwọn Fúlàní tán. Àkọ́jú pé torí pé téèyàn bá ti di ọ̀rẹ́, ó máa ń lé gbà mí láti fi sọ̀rọ̀. Téèyàn bá ti di ọ̀rẹ́, wọ́n ti jọ jẹ, wọ́n ti jọ mu. Ṣé ló máa ń ní wọn lára bọ́ fún wọn rí pé gbogbo àtẹ́rí ẹni tí kò lè lọ síwájú ọ̀sẹ̀ tó bá kú tí kò lè lọ síwájú ọlọ́run òun ni ọmọ oṣù bíi mẹ́fà ọdún kan. Tẹ́wọ́n ọmọ ọdún méjì gan tó bá kú tí kọ́kọ́ tó rí ayé ṣe níwọ̀nba àìjẹ́sù yẹn ó máa sọ fọ́lọ̀.
All right. Thank you. All right. Thank you very much. Okay, then. Thank you very much. The last caller was just trying to give a kind of an advice. Is just to also carry along some of the, like I said, we have a lot of our listeners that are from different part of African countries that listen to us as well. Again, we are now on the second part of this program this evening. You can also contribute +4475 94050 I repeat that number again, +4475 94050 While those calls were coming through, I was just picking up Tolu Ogunlese. I'm sure some of you remember him. He is the the president not spokesman, but also part of the President Muhammadu Buhari team. He was interviewed on CNN. We're still discussing the digital transformation. Let me see if we can bring that up. He is a special advisor to Nigerian president, and he was being interviewed. It's trending on Twitter. That was how I was able to. And this is again part of what we say. A lot of us are not on Twitter, and that was why we all got freezed out. Especially, most people did not even understand that it was not the Nigerian government that literally stopped the internet from working. It was actually a global problem. So Tolu Ogunlese, as I speak to you right now, is trending on number 2. And when I clicked on that earlier on, let's now bring up that interview that he had with CNN, I guess today. Let's listen to it together.
You are part of a team that is working. You're part of a technical team Nigeria set up to negotiate with Twitter. Are you any closer to finding a resolution to this issue?
Absolutely. It is. We are indeed very close to a resolution. And one thing I must say is, you typically want, the media seems sort of to often want to paint a picture of some sort of adversarial negotiation or a contest of sorts. But it's been a very amicable, very peaceful, very amicable and positive conversation. I think both sides have benefited from listening to each other and sharing their views, and I think we are indeed very close. Again, in the Independence Day speech of the President on the 1st of October, he did actually say that he's approved the lifting of the ban, of the suspension. As long as the committees he set up, the ministerial committee, is happy that the conditions that have been outlined have been fulfilled by Twitter. So we are very close. There's no doubt about that.
So that you can't say it's not adversarial when you have banned a social network for 4 months and counting.
Remember that Twitter was banned for a reason. That reason, he could not give us an answer to that. Let's hear a little bit more.
When President Buhari, in that Independence Day you speak about, gave conditions that will not be fulfilled tomorrow. These are conditions that will take time to incorporate in Nigeria, to pay taxes, and all those to be under Nigerian law. These will not happen next week.
No, absolutely. The conditions are not, they are sort of, you might look at them from the point of view of short term, medium term, long term. But so, for in the example with taxation, the condition is not that you must start paying taxes. The condition is that you must commit or commit to having a conversation, with the tax authorities about paying taxes.
Let us remember that Twitter is still again part of that digital, transformation. If you do not understand, millions of people are using Twitter, to run their, networking businesses, name it. So many things people are using Twitter for. But I don't think, the president realized that when on the 5th of June, something that was of useful to not just Nigerians, but because they were tweeting, but was useful because it was also a digital transformation to communicate, to explore the world, was banned in Nigeria. And the person speaking right now is giving a background to where we are on that. Let's listen again.
So it's not, it's not an insistence on paying taxes starting today. It's more the condition is about a commitment. It's about commitment. It's about timelines. So let's go back. Commitments and timelines are very important to the conversation. Yeah.
Let's go back to the beginning. Was Twitter suspended in Nigeria because it deleted a tweet by President Buhari?
So it was. The context is a lot bigger than that. But of course.
Sorry about that.
Media point of view, you find that usually, and this is not just in Nigeria, there's often an event or something that happens that kind of triggers something else. But the context.
So the trigger for this suspension, Tolu, the trigger for the suspension was because Twitter deleted a tweet by President Buhari, which violated its terms of service.
Well, so that's very debatable. I do not. That tweet. Was not. I do not believe that tweet violated the terms of service of Twitter, and it's of course it leads us to the question of how.
He has not been able to answer the question. Was Twitter banned in Nigeria because Twitter deleted, the tweet from the president of Nigeria Twitter handle? He was just going around and around without a solid answer, and this is a country the majority of the youth still believe in. The same country that killed, the love that the Nigerian youth have for it on the 20th of October last year.
It was local content and local context. How is
in
Twitter
fact, you bring up
without,
context, which is important because as a Nigerian and anybody who follows the context understands that when you talk about people who misbehave will be treated in the language they understand.
Again, he's been asked what the president said during one of the interview, that people that are misbehaving will be treated the way they are meant to be treated. Do you understand what that means? Let's hear what he has to say to that.
An incitement to violence in their plain meaning. That's why Twitter took down that tweet because it was seen as inciting people to violence.
No, absolutely not. The president spoke in his capacity as the president of Nigeria, and it was a law enforcement message. It is a law. I believe it's perfectly valid for the president of Nigeria to speak and to say that people who are, and there was a specific. That's why I talk about context. It was contextual. It was specific. It was not a message to law-abiding Nigerians. It was a message to people who have chosen to inflict violence on other Nigerians.
Don't you think it's a contradiction for President Buhari to be reaching out to big tech, meeting with Mark Zuckerberg like he did in 2016, trying to make Nigeria an attractive destination for tech investment, and at the same time banning a company at the first sign of doing something that he does not like?
Well, the Nigerian government is definitely keen on welcoming technology investment, and we have welcomed and continue to see quite a lot of technology investment. So it's two sides of a coin. We welcome technology investment. The other side of the coin, of course, is that technology companies also have a duty. So the government has a duty to welcome investment, to promote it.
How do you welcome investment when the policy, behaving as if we are still? I mean, this government I'm talking about this present government thinks that we are still in that military era when he was putting on that fake uniform that he used to overthrow a civilian government in 1983. I think Buhari still thinks he's still in that myopic thinking. He doesn't understand that the world has moved forward. He wants to deal with us, like he's still in that military, dictator rule. Just like he wanted to kidnap Umaru Dikoye in London in 1984. But you don't know that. But they realize that, democracy is not the kind of thing that they want. And that's why, during his speech on the 1st of October, there was nothing to write him about it. It was all cocks and bulls. The president, during the October 1st independent speech to Nigerians, gave us the false impression that he knows the sponsor of Sunday Igboho and Nnamdi Kanu within one of the present senator in this ninth assembly. But this same president was quick to label the sponsor of the NSAS last year, and some of their bank accounts were closed. And I think, if I'm right, I think Davido's bank account were also had a bit of problem. But the same government cannot give us the names of the Boko Haram. And when we ask the government, give us the name, just like the UAE, United Arab Emirates, was able to give us name last year, sentence people to prison, give us name this year, and they are also been sentenced. Why is the Nigerian government finding it difficult to do the same thing by giving us names of the sponsor of Boko Haram? But now we know some of those names in that article that have come out as the NASCO conflicts. Good evening to those of you that have joined us. This government thinks it can operate just like it was operating when he overthrown the civilian government in 1983. I don't think Buhari understands that he's no longer in uniform. I don't think that majority of them doesn't understand that the uniform that they were using to threaten Nigerians is no longer what they have today. Let's hear what Professor Wole Soyinka, the Nobel laureate, have to say at some point.
Whoever conducted that gallop pool or whatever it was.
Let's go back a little bit.
And it's sorry about the short notice, but there really wasn't much time, and something urgent came up, and I thought earlier.
I'm reading some of your comments as well quickly so that we can catch up, because it looks like we've got quite a lot of comment, and since Star Radio UK is an interactive platform, we read all your comment that is coming. Remember, you can go on our social media handle, Star Radio UK, put your comment in there, we read it out, and some of you that are watching us on different platforms. Temitope says Nigeria is a zoological or jungle when big animals bullying the smaller animals. Thank you very much for watching. Yemi Olu say good day everyone. Omonishola Ajibade says good evening my brother, good evening to you as well. Also Temitope says Nigeria is not a country, is an experiment library. Okay, so what are we going to do with the experiment library? Foluke ID, Yoruba spirit, amen in Jesus name. Young Presido, we there with you, Mr. Koiki. God is with you also. Thank you very much. Alaja Musurat Adenike in Olobade. Some of those that traveled all the way from Manchester would like to appreciate those of you that came all the way from Birmingham, Wolverhampton, from Liverpool. But this weekend, we'll be heading down to Glasgow. I'll be giving you more details about that. I'll be telling you what you need to know in terms of some of the latest information. With where we are with the Yoruba Nation self-determination, Nnamdi Kanu is still being held, Omoyele Sowore is still being held. So many people are missing in Nigeria, and it seems the government is not doing much to find those behind it as well. But rather, they're ready to label someone like Lady K and Jamiu as terrorists, when the real terrorists are moving around with impunity in Nigeria. So like I said, let us tell this government that we are no longer in that khaki uniform, so you cannot threaten and average Nigerians, because Nigerians that are not happy to be part of Nigeria have the legal right under the United Nations self-determination to determine whether they want to continue or not. All you have to do is just give them the referendum and let them decide. So let's come back again. Thank you very much once again, Alaja Monsurat Lobade. Can you imagine that Jackie of Niger? Also Yoruba spirit. Ya Allah, you are gathered the separator. Please separate Yoruba nation from Nigeria, like Mayegun would say. Yeyoge, thank you very much for watching us. It says good evening to you as well. Adejoke Adedakbo says good evening. I say good evening as well. I pray for Chief Sunday Igboho to cover by the blood of Jesus. His birthday is coming. Yes, it's loading. His birthday is just this coming Sunday, the 10th of October 2021. Once again, it is still Star Radio UK, your finest African and Caribbean radio station in London. So as we continue to read some of the comments as well, hope nothing should happen to Igboho Osha. Please, Benin Republic should be warned. No release Igboho for us. Please release Igboho for us now. So those are some of your comments that have come through. Almighty God will never allow election to hold in Yoruba Nation territory. That is also coming up there. Koiki, how far about Chief Sunday Igboho's health? All we can tell you is it needs urgent medical attention. So that is about that. Let's come back to see some of you on YouTube what we have there. Good evening, Mr. Koike. Good evening, Mr. Samuel. Good evening, Biola Badmos. Good evening, Andrew Beckley. Good evening, Oluremi Ogabi. Good evening to you. Good evening, Reverend Demeji Banwo. We Nigerians are too relaxed. We don't take the bull by the horn. Good evening, Mojibola Odewale. Good evening, Oduatide. Let's see who is there again. Oloyede Gbe. Good evening as well. Good evening to you, Sheyi Adesuyi. Good evening to you, Mrs. Dada Liz. And let's go and see those of you again on Star Radio UK on the YouTube. I always say good evening to those of you that are watching us from different platforms as well. This is still Niger Voices on Star Radio UK. It is your finest African and Caribbean radio station in London. Remember to share the broadcast, invite your friends, and remember to tell them that every Wednesday, this is how we do it, by driving you home every Wednesday. So once again, as we continue to say good evening, let's go and say those of you watching all the way from Enugu, I say thank you very much as well. Good evening, Ayola Afon. Good evening, Abdullah Jami. Good evening to all the listeners from the northern part of the country, whether you're watching us from Zamfara, Kaduna, Port Harcourt. I say good evening to you. Those of you watching us from the other part of the globe, we are just 18 minutes past 7 p.m. Now let's go back to what Professor Wole Soyinka was telling us about the grazing route, about the NBC regulation, and likewise about the Chief Sunday Igboho. This is not a current interview, but let's just bring it again into the conversation on Niger Voices. At about 7:30, I'll be giving you some of the headlines. Sorry to those of you that were following, Mr. Archie this morning on the morning show. I couldn't join, but be rest assured, I'll be giving you all these headlines just at about 7:30. Let's go again and hear Professor Wole Soyinka.
It has to do with decree number 4 under any other name. It's still decree number 4. And I believe that this parallelism was pointed out at the time when the so-called regulation was passed. Various media, I remember The Guardian was one of them, which said it's just decree number 4 by other means. But now we've been watching the play of this, the interventions, using a...
Okay, a comment have just come through. Sorry, good evening. Okay, the comment says, I think when is the... Mr. Quick, which day is the rally in Glasgow? Is a Sunday. Chief Sunday Igboho's birthday is also on a Sunday. It's going to be happening at George Square, the city center, at 12 p.m. Let us try and get there for those of us that are living in Glasgow and Edinburgh. And if you're traveling as well, do leave enough time as well.
This decree, and so I think nobody is left in any doubt that both the spirit and the letter of this broadcasting all of you have, I don't know if you've seen this letter, which was sent by the Broadcasting, National Broadcasting Commission to Channel TV. It just happens to be channels, it could be anyone. It's been others as well. But this for me is the first time I've actually seen an example of the kind of query that the media is getting. Yeah, just take one or two examples. Here's a title notice of infraction. And section, the broadcaster shall ensure that its presenter shall handle with professionalism and sound judgment to ensure, etc., etc.
Again, the reason why we just I'm not going to play everything. I'm going to fast forward a little bit. Is just to remind us that as Nigerians, for those of us that still believe as Nigerians, we must understand that we have the right to speak out. We have. I understand, the security operator doesn't allow that to happen, and that's why there's a kind of this fear in the minds of millions of Nigerians that if we do anything, we might be hampered, just like Jumoke Oleke was killed on the 3rd of July during the peaceful Lagos mega rally. So let's hear more a little bit from Professor Wale Soyinka.
Sectional national sovereignty. I'm talking about Igbo who threw out a criminal Fulani herdsman who'd been terrorizing his neighborhood, because that's his real crime. I refuse to accept that Igbo is being chased because he peacefully demonstrated his position vis-a-vis the destiny of this nation, which is a fundamental human right of anybody. So somebody calls for secession, calls for a separate state. I don't consider that, and nowhere is that to be declared a criminal act. That's one's vision of one's own society, full stop. As long as it's done peacefully, collectively, within the law, you do not now criminalize that action. And in addition, commit criminal acts against such an individual, which is what the government, the security services did by raiding Igboho's home in the middle of the night, 2 a.m., killing 2 of his own people, then claiming, without a warrant or anything, then claiming they found weapons in his home. Now, who's going to believe that cock and bull story? And this is an appeal actually to the Republic of Benin, to the government of the Republic of Benin. Why are you keeping this victim in your prisons? I mean, what's going on? What crime did he commit against your state that you are holding him in prison instead of just letting him continue his journey? Igboho has not committed any crime against any known law in this nation. And so to ask for his repatriation is just adding insult to injury. You invaded the man's house, destroyed his property, chased him into the wilderness, and then you pursued him next door. So we're asking the government of the Republic of Benin to release this young man and let him go about his business, which was interrupted unjustly. Please rectify this error. Don't compound it any further by holding.
And likewise, as Professor Wale Soyinka was saying there to the president and the government of Benin Republic, that there is no reason to compound the problem, even now that his health is in something that needs to be taken care of as quickly as possible. And we hope the message to the a man of dignity would allow Chief Sunday Igboho to seek that medical assistance that is needed for him as quickly as possible, just like Professor Wale Soyinka, a Nobel laureate, was saying there as well. Some of you might not know the full meaning of APC, but it seems somebody in Nigeria was able to put this together in terms of full meaning of APC.
APC means as Asiwaju Property Corporation.
a main property company, anti-people's commoners, I'm a personal career, and in the presidential candidate. Another problem coming to Nigeria also, Ashawo produce condom, all promises council, Amaba People's Congress. Another problem coming to Nigeria unsolved. Association of political criminals. Carry the winner, give the loser, carry the loser, give the winner. Uncontested candidate to become a governor of Imo State. What's the meaning of APC? APC means as Ashiwaju Property Corporation, a main property company, anti-people's commoners, I'm a personal career, and in the presidential candidate. Another problem coming to Nigeria also, Ashawo produce condom, all promises council, Amaba People's Congress. Another problem coming to Nigeria unsolved. Association of political criminals. Carry the winner, give the loser, carry the loser, give the winner. Uncontested candidate to become a governor of Imo State.
Well, that is the full meaning. If you don't know, that's the full meaning of APC according to that young or old Nigerian there. I'm just looking at some of the headlines. It's exactly 1927. We're still on Niger Voices on Star Radio UK. We're just about 33 minutes away before the end of the program. Yes, that was a very brilliant one by Professor Wale Soyinka saying, don't believe this cock and bull story of, what this government is saying, because this government still think we are still in the military era. Let's give us some of the headline. Another attack by terrorists as residents flee as terrorists kill 10 in a fresh attack. Guess where? The home state of the president Muhammadu Buhari. Let's look into that story. A resident of Yashori community in Batasiri local government area of Katsina State are relocating to Bastara town and other safer communities following the killing of 10 people in the community. Please, when we say people are killed, these are not just numbers. These are people like myself and you. They wanted a better life. The government is not supporting them. They're just living their own little life until terrorists come in and kill them. But it seems every Nigerian now, when we say somebody died, 10 people died, 30 people died, remember it was one person that died in America and the whole world was moving, back and forth. So let us always consider that anytime we say people died, they are not numbers and they are not just numbers. They are real people like myself and you, but their life got cut short because of the terrorist activities, and this was happening today. So those people have now decided to move away from their community. It was learned that the terrorists, numbering over 30 from their hideout in the dreaded Banri Garawi forest in Kaduna State, stormed the community and other neighboring communities on motorcycles. Again, if the country has already been in transformation, digital, like we started at the beginning of this program, we will be able to track them down with the satellite. We can know when they are moving out, even if we have thick forests, which I guess we do, across most of those parts. But if we have the right satellite, thermal imaging, you can see when people are moving. Like I said, I'm not going to give you the name of the movie I'm watching on Netflix, but no, the one I watched prior to that, was more of, I might be able to name that. I think, if I can remember, just give me a few minutes. That they were able to zoom in on the individual from the satellite, and they were able to use that to follow him around. He was a military guy that was moving around from one country to the other, and they were able to do that, to give him that back end support. So they were zooming in up to where they can see them facially. But these are 30 terrorists that the Nigerian government does not even know whether they are Nigerians, they're from Niger, because we have 1,960 porous border that is just left open, but the border in the southwest in Benin Republic has been closed for the last 2 years. So let's take us through some of the other headlines quickly, and then as we're just about half an hour away, I say good evening once again. It's Star Radio UK. So at exactly 7:55, we start winding down the program, and I'd like to appreciate every single one of you that have joined us again this evening. I'll be telling you more about the upcoming rally in Glasgow. Insecurity, state of emergency can't be ruled out in Anambra. I'm sure if you've been following the situation in Anambra State and Imo State and moisture part of the southeast, and some of these atrocity of the unknown gunmen and politicians that are behind them, even though they're trying to label the Biafra and the IPOB as people behind it, but categorically the politicians know that they are the one behind this. Even the governor of Imo State, Uzodimma, said it during one of his interviews. Maybe next week we will try and tell our sound engineer to get those interview ready, and we can play that to us. So when you hear the killings that is happening in the southeast, be rest assured that these are well known by each of the political gladiator for their own selfish interests and putting the lives of millions of those living in those parts of the state, in that region, in a very big dilemma. So let's see, what the Attorney General of the Federation is saying when he says insecurity, state of emergency can't be ruled out in Anambra State. Remember that they are planning to hold an election in November, and this is the time that the election killing start. As 2023 is getting closer, you start seeing the same thing in almost every part of Nigeria where Nigerians are being killed. I remember when the second time of this government, Star Radio UK was on ground in Nigeria, and we were covering some of these, electorate that was going on, and during the voting, you could see ballot boxes being snatched in the eyes of security operatives, especially in Lagos State, that you would thought digitalization should have occurred, that even Lagosians should not be going out to vote and doing it online and digital wise on their mobile phones or however. But broad daylight, ballot boxes were being snatched. I'm not talking about in rural area. In Lagos, that was that second election. So again, according to what we have, the federal government has threatened to declare a state of emergency in Anambra to ensure that the November 6th governorship election in the state takes place. Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice Abubakar Malami said this today after the Federal Executive Council meeting at the Presidential Villa. The minister says the government was determined to ensure each free election in Anambra despite the waves of attacks and killing by some of these politicians that we can say are behind all this atrocity. It also seems to be going well again in Lagos State. They are not pleased, with the fiscal federalism. Lagos State is now demanding that 1% revenue allocation formula. Let's see what Babajide Sanwo-Olu, demand for special status. We don't know that Lagos is providing the huge when it comes to the income revenue, internet generated revenue coming into Nigeria. Lagos is taking the bunch of it, even though the northern part of the country are not doing much, but they're taking the alcohol taxes, but yet you can't sell alcohol in Kano. Amazing. Grace Olushoto, thank you very much, watching all the way from Dublin, says, and I read the comment, let's see if I can pick it from this side. Says once again, a very good evening to everyone that is watching us. Says the unknown gunmen at DSS and Nigerian government politicians, shame on you all. Why are you evil dwelling and digging in it? Leave and release Chief Sunday Adeyemo Majasola Adeyemo aka Igbowosha. Thank you very much for that comment. Once again, 7:35. I still would like to say thank you very much to my producer Frank David, and also Archie, working behind the scene every Wednesday. This time last week, we were unable to complete the program because we were running it from outside and was quite a lot of the noise at the background. But I can tell us that also 2022 appropriation, federal government will borrow to finance 6.25 trillion budget deficit. Wow, are you aware of that? Each time we have been borrowing money, and Nigerians have been asking, where is the money going? People cannot see where the money is going. But let's see what this headline is saying again. 2022 appropriation, federal government of Nigeria will borrow to finance the 6.258 trillion budget deficit, according to the minister. According to the the Federal Executive Council approved the budget proposal. The federal government has disclosed that 6.2 trillion budget deficit in the proposed 2022 appropriation bill will be financed through local and external loans. And the question is, what is going to be your share as Nigerians when it comes to all this loan? Well, let's now see if we can quickly give us a bit of what is happening on the Sunday, the 10th of October in Glasgow City. Let's hear it directly from Mayegun General himself.
What I'm talking about, yeah? We want same for our people back in Nigeria. But you and I can't go to Nigeria and say, let us talk to our people why and share our own experience with them. Tell them how life should be. Normally, I mean, go back there in mass and talk to them about the Yoruba nation. We will be kidnapped, we will be killed if we are unlucky. And if we are lucky, we'll be jailed. But if you are there on Sunday, next week Sunday, George Square, City Center, Glasgow, if you are coming by from outside Glasgow and you are not driving, you can come by train. Once you get to the central station in Glasgow, just ask anyone around. You are likely going to see people coming down too, going to George Square, okay? Ask around. And if you have a chance of getting yourself to Queen Station in Glasgow, I will be there live on Glasgow.
Well, that is this weekend, Sunday, which is also the birthday of Chief Sunday Adeyemo, popularly known as Igbowosha. I call him the Imole Yoruba. Also, we will be traveling down there as well, to join those that will be, coming out. And the question again is, what is happening? We expect Mazi Nnamdi Kanu to be returned back to the Federal High Court in Abuja this month. Is the DSS going to bring him back to the court? Also, I'm getting information that the Kenya government have been given 21 days to respond back to what actually happened in Kenya with Nnamdi Kanu. So 21 days has been given to Abiola Shofore. Yes, the rally is on Sunday, this coming Sunday in Glasgow. For those of you in Glasgow, Edinburgh, within the axis, if you're 1 hour away, you can drive down there. If you're 2 hours away, let us all make it down there. Again, the Southeast Governors leader Sean Nnamdi Kanu's release during a security summit in Enugu. They never talked about it. Also, the Southeast Governor condemned IPOP sit-at-home silent on Nnamdi Kanu. Nnamdi Kanu, you can't stop sit-at-home order. IPOP firebacks at the Southeast. So, the only way the IPOP have been able to say, okay, we did not agree for the government of Nigeria to have kidnapped rendition of Nnamdi Kanu from Kenya, and the only way we can stop, we can react to that is to make sure that we do not come out every Monday. Do you agree with that? Do you think that is the right way to, I mean, at least nobody's offending anybody, even though that, the Southeast governors are saying, millions of naira have been lost every Monday. But the Biafrans are saying, we have not committed any crime, we have not killed anybody, we've just decided to stay at home. Do you think that, the Yorubas can do the same thing? That is what the question that people are asking. The area was really also ready to leave Nigeria and have their own nation. Again, is a question that so many people, will be asking. So we take two more from the headline, and then we return back again to the program. It is still Star Radio UK, Niger Voices every Wednesday. We have a comment that is also coming through from Femi Oke. Let's read that quickly. Let us blame our obas, politicians, and religious leaders across Yoruba land. How could a government close your border and open their border, and you can't trash the matter with them? Our Yoruba leaders have destroyed a generation. I totally agree with you. I mean, a lot of people do not even know that in Castina the border is just open. It's not just open to food. We've seen rice and other things coming through, but it's also bringing in jihadis, terrorists into the country, and that is quite a little bit worrisome for so many of us. I mean, when we look at the situation where the border in the Yoruba land, if you want to look at it that way, because most of the border has been closed in the southwest and the southeast, whereas in the northern part of the country, they've just left it open and say, wow, you can just come in. So as we are just getting closer, it says exactly 1941. Once again, this is what Professor Banji Akintoye had to say. But before I go into that, have you listened to this new release from one of our brother back home to Chief Sunday Igboho? Let's hear that together.
ọmọ Yorùbá lápapọ̀ tilẹ̀ tó kó ẹ̀mí àpọ̀ ẹ̀bá nǹkan mọ Adéyẹmọ Chief Sunday Adéyẹmọ Ìgbòho orúkọ ńlá tí ń jámọ̀ láyà bí ara orúkọ tó ń dẹrù olórúkọ gan. ọmọ Yorùbá ẹ má sùn torí pé bùrà a kò lè fojú kégbodò láyé títa ríro lẹ̀dá ń kọlà wúrà tó máa dán alànà kọjá dandan o. ọmọ erin ní má bẹ̀rẹ̀ wọ̀nà ẹ̀dá kan lè ṣì wá lọ́nà mọ́ ẹjẹ́ àfìmọ̀ṣọ̀ kan ká lè débi. ẹ̀já jọ gbárùkù ti Sunday Ìgbòho ṣá ọmọ Ìgbòho mọ̀rẹ́ nílùú Alágbàdo Òde ọmọ atapẹ̀tẹ̀ wọnú omi ọmọ tètè wodò sànyà ìsànyà ò rẹ́ràn bàbá yín láàrin ìdí omi kò sí náà ń kán sí yín lẹ́nu ọmọ òkúta mẹ́ta òkè Ìgbòho ìkan ń ṣe yín ní dábọ̀dàbọ̀ ìkan ní mọ́ rọra ìkan tó kù nígbà tí wọ́n mọ̀ Ìgbòho mọ̀rẹ́ kí ló dé Ìgbòho mọ̀rẹ́ sí ọmọ òpópó sánrán ìgbàgede Ìgbòho sùn wọn láláìsí bẹ̀rẹ̀ wọn ní kó ní bẹ̀rẹ̀ ó máa kó bẹ̀rẹ̀ lọ ẹ̀sìn òní bímọ méjì ní Ìgbòho mọ̀rẹ́ bẹ́sìn bá bímọ méjì ní Ìgbòho áfíkan pọpọ sí amúkan yòókù bọ sànyà àtúmúyà rẹ̀ tí ò lọ́rọ̀ bọ́ àfiṣẹ́rù wálé wàràmùjẹ ọmọ onílé ọ̀la àwọn àjòjì tó ń ṣe ségesège tọ́láwọn ò ní bomi kó sí mu wọ́n láwọn ò ní bomi sànyà wẹ́sẹ̀ ìgbà tójú kò fèrè ń kọ́ gbogbo wọn náà sáré bomi kó sí mu wọ́n sì bomi sànyà wẹ́sẹ̀ ọmọ abẹ́rẹ́ mẹ́ta òde ayé ọ̀kan ṣẹ́ ọ̀kan tẹ̀ ọ̀kan tó kù ní gbogbo ayé fi ránṣọ kiri gbogbo ọmọ Yorùbá Sunday Igboho onírèlè láéláé torí àbá lásán lè bá ń dá òkúta ò ṣe gbé fún wọn o ìmọ̀ràn lásán ni ti balùwẹ̀ kò pọ́sibú kó dòdò láyé ń bí ogun díẹ̀ tí tọ́ domi láéláé ìtọ́ mi lè domi Sunday Igboho arógun má ti bí tó ń jà fẹ́tọ̀ Yorùbá ní tilé tó kó.
Well, and that is something that was put together for Chief Sunday Igboho. PDP were there for 16 years, 16 wasted years, and you can see that Jonathan is also now coming out more. I'm also seeing Atiku with his children. They have been visiting the zoo, preparing for 2023, and making it look like they are family men, which is okay. But the question is, can you really trust any of this political party again as 2023 is approaching? Can you hold your chest and say, okay, APC has failed? Thank you very much, Mrs. Grace. APC has failed, but we can try PDP again after 16 years. Or maybe AFGA, or maybe Showere's party, or maybe any of those political parties. There are quite a lot of numbers of them. I'm not sure whether they've deregistered majority of them, as INEC was saying. INEC is saying they are not sure the situation in Anambra for the election, but as you can see, they might declare a state of emergency. What do you understand when the government declare a state of emergency? What do you understand by that? Once again, we are just 15 minutes away before this evening broadcast. Like I said, I would like to appreciate every single one of you that have joined us from different part of the globe. And as we are saying, let us hear what Professor Banji Akintoye had to say some few days ago. Once again, it's still coming back.
náà àwọn ọmọ wọn ní ẹ má jọ sùn yín ìṣe táìmù tó yẹ kó sùn yín lélẹ̀ a máa gbára wa lẹ̀ àwọn ọ̀tá wa àwọn tó ń gbé wa àwọn Fúlàní àwọn tó ń support wọn ní federal government tó ń bá wọn ṣètò ó ti ń sú wọn wọ́n ti wá. wọ́n rí i pé tí Yorùbá yàtọ̀ nǹkan tó ń rò tẹ́lẹ̀ ní pé àwa á máa pa ọlọ́pàá àlọ́ máa jó àgbà ọlọ́pàá àlọ́ máa ṣe káwọn bá lè ráyè wá kó sójà wá káwọn máa pa ìpààyàn ọmọ wa káàkiri ní títì wọ́n ti wá rí i pé Yorùbá yàtọ̀ sínú gbogbo rọ́bìṣì wọ̀nyẹn àwa Yorùbá kì í ṣe irú yẹn o and we are going to win ó ṣe jẹ́ nìyẹn.
bàbá mi àwọn èèyàn náà fẹ́ mọ ipò tí bàbá wa olóyè Sunday Igboho wà ń bí.
mo fẹ́ kí gbogbo yín fọkànbalẹ̀ ní òkúrò bí o a máa gbà jáde láìpẹ́ ẹ máa gbọ́ ìròyìn dáadáa láìpẹ́ sísẹ́ẹ̀mù wọn níbí ò yàtọ̀ sí ti àwa àti.
And just for the benefit of those of you that might not understand the language, that is, the leader of the Yoruba movement known as, Ilana Omo Odua. Is also, a professor of history. Is 86 years old. He believes that the Yorubas, has the capacity to be on their own as against being entrapped in Nigeria. Is giving update about the situation presently surrounding, the Chief Sunday Igboho, and also there will be an update on what he says in regard to where we are and where we are heading to. We are just about 12 minutes away before the end of this evening. Niger Voices on Star Radio UK. But tomorrow, right here on the same station, you'll be able to watch the Property Hour. But I'll be joining them back again at 11 o'clock tomorrow, on the Breakfast Show. Make sure you join me where we'll be discussing everything about the update and the news from Nigeria. We'd like to appreciate every one of you from different part of the globe as you are tuning in every Wednesday with us. But also remember to subscribe to Star Radio UK on YouTube, on Twitter. Remember to also reach out to us on 02081332257 should you have what of your goods or whatever you're doing that you want the Star Radio UK to help you to discuss to some of your followers, some of your congregation. You can reach out to us as well. Also, send waves. You can send money to your loved ones back home. But remember, if you're sending money, remember to use the promo code S for Star, R for Radio. Let's finish up with what Professor Banji Akitoye was saying. This is still Niger Voices, as we are now just about 11 minutes away before today's edition comes to an end.
Ní kan ṣẹlẹ̀ ní àwọn adájọ́ wọn bí wọ́n máa ń gbàyè oṣù kan lọ́dọọdún kò dẹ̀ sí nǹkan tó lè ṣe wọ́n ká má gbàyè yẹn olùjọ́ mẹ́ta mẹ́rin tán mú gbà táyè yẹn bẹ̀rẹ̀ yóò fọ ìbá bí oṣù kan ní òsì nǹkan kan tó ń ṣẹlẹ̀ but àwọn adájọ́ wọn ìlú wa padà wá sí ẹnìjọ́ Friday tó kọjá wọ́n dẹ̀ lẹ́yìn yẹn wọ́n ti lọ sí court níjọ́ Tuesday tó kọjá ìsẹ́ Tuesday jẹ́jọ́ I think I move closer and closer.
Again, it was given a background again that the case is still being held in Benin Republic, and the reason for that is the system there is quite different from Nigeria. Prior to when Chief Sunday Igboho was arrested, not because he has committed any crime, but because the Nigerian government, after invaded his house on the 1st of July, two innocent Nigerians or two innocent Yorubas were killed, animals were killed and taken away, and likewise 12 innocent people were taken out of his house 2 months after. 10 of them have been released. 2 have now been charged for terrorism charges. Ifeoluwa Amda, known as Lady K, just for the only reason that she was using her social media, to communicate and give, some of the atrocity and reason why, she believes that the self-determination is what she wants. Also, the last person, Oladile, also known as Jamil Noah, is a car dealer, a family man that has also been kept now going to 3 months, that he has been in the hands of the DSS under the underground cell with no electricity, all dark pitch. Those that are returned back has been given some of their experience for the 2 months. Also, the 2 dead bodies have not yet been returned back, to the family of the loved ones, and you can only imagine that after people were killed in the house, the government still think that this is a military era. And like I said at the beginning of the first program, all they could have done is going into that property with a proper warrant arrest, and they could have a body armor camera, but all that was not taken along, and that definitely indicate that the federal government knew what mission they wanted to carry out on the 1st of October, and that was what led to the arrest of Chief Sunday Adeyemo Igboho. So in just about 3 minutes, we're just going to be playing our last track, and then that will lead us to exit, not final exit, but exit out of the studio this evening. I'll be back again same time, like I said, next week Wednesday. But if you're coming down to Glasgow for the mega rally, make sure you plan the journey, and also tell someone, especially those of you living in those particular region as well. Let's finish up with what Professor Banji Akintoye was telling us at that short clip that was sent to us from Benin Republic, and I believe that video was shot on the 4th of October this year. Again, our father is saying, this is the time for us to get ourselves out of Nigeria. This is not a country that is meant for us. Let me say quickly, good evening to you, my brother Joshua on YouTube. Good evening, Jacob. Until we start taking heads, nothing will change. Good evening to you, Justin Reason. Ola Mide, good evening to you. Good evening to you, Bileke. Good evening to you as well. Bridget Agbomo, good evening. Ibukun, I've seen your email. Thank you very much for that. We'll be working on that. Biola Badmos, good evening to you. And likewise, there's a few more last comment coming as well. Temita Poike said that is super. Yes, thank you so much as well to you for watching. Good evening to all our Biafra brothers and sisters. Good evening to those that are Hausa, the Fulani that are also watching. I'm sure you understand that the country is not working, and we can do something, to break and demand for a referendum peacefully. Likewise as well, good evening to you, Mrs. Shade Oyelowo says super. Comrade Marshall, good evening. Pastor Mo Adesonya, a very good listeners of ours on Star Radio UK and the other platform, good evening. Olusheyi Abioro, good evening to you. Mirado says data available at cheaper rate, 1 gig at 320 naira. Data is live, MTN only. Okay, I'm not sure whether a lot of Nigerians have access to that. So let's quickly just because time is fast spent and it's just about time to start returning back to the engineer to wind it down from here.
In your car,
At work,
at home,
on your smartphone.
So come out with old video ni eléyìí.
No, bẹ́ẹ̀ ni ní 4th of October. 2021. Tuesday jẹ́jọ́ exactly.
Okay,
wọ́n lọ sí court.
Wọ́n lọ sí court, okay. Ẹ jọ nípa ọ̀rọ̀ United Nations, ibo ni ọ̀rọ̀ wa dé dúró níbẹ̀?
Yẹn ń lọ ọ̀rọ̀ United Nations. Àwa Yorùbá nǹkan tó wà ń bẹ̀ ni pé ààrẹ dì í. Ṣé rí ìjọ tí bàbá wa Awólọ́wọ̀ ní kí gbogbo èèyàn máa kọ́ àwọn ọmọ sí skul yẹn bàbá bóyá ní bàbá mọ̀ pé nǹkan tó tóbi tẹ́lẹ̀ yìí lòun ṣe fún Yorùbá o. We are a very powerful nation and gbogbo ayé ti mọ̀ wípé àwọn kan jẹ́ Yorùbá o. àwọn Yorùbá yẹn wọ́n dẹ̀ ní readiness láti ṣètò ara wọn, wọ́n ti ready.
Yes, hashtag free Mazinam the Kanu now, hashtag free Chief Sunday Adeyemo Igboho, hashtag free all the detainees, hashtag free Omoyele Sowore, hashtag free yourself from Nigeria.
Láti ṣèjọba ara wọn lọ́nà tó kún tó dáa tó dẹ̀ máa kó mú ìwà fún Yorùbá káàkiri ayé. Gbogbo ẹbí Yorùbá káàkiri ayé ti wá ń kóra jọ. Títí dé Brazil, mo bá àwọn ará Brazil ṣèpàdé lánàá. Bí wákàtí bíi mẹ́rin. Brazil, àwọn Yorùbá tó wà ní Brazil.
We're going to leave that. We can only appreciate our father for being there to all the sons and daughters of the Yorubas and those that still believe in one Nigeria. The question is, do you believe that the 2023 general election can change things? So many NGOs, so many individuals are demanding a better life out of Nigeria, but I'm not sure whether restructuring will solve the problem or a general election. That is my own view, that is my own opinion. And as I say, as usual, Oba Onipokia, and this is coming from Yoruba G Masun.
Isa Olushola Adeni Olaniyan Onipokia ti ilẹ̀ Pokia tó jẹ́ ọba pàtàkì nílẹ̀ Yorùbá. Ọ̀rọ̀ àwọn darandaran tí wọ́n ń dà wọ́n.
Coming towards the final beat, and it's exactly 3 minutes exactly before 8 p.m. I would have loved to stay longer, but as you know, we have to go. Thank you very much once again. This is Star Radio UK, and I'll be back same time next week, 6 p.m. But tomorrow at 11 o'clock, I'll be joining the morning show. I wouldn't have done these without saying thank you very much again to every single one of you that have joined us from different parts of the globe, from Kenya, Uganda, Benin Republic. We're pleading again to the country to say, let Chief Sunday Adeyemo Igboho have a medical attention as quickly as possible. Again, I say thank you very much to every one of you on Instagram. Modupe, good evening. Yeti, Kenyi, good evening. Damilola, good evening to you. Larry, good evening. Ola Biyo, good evening. Wale John, Dabi, good evening. Ramon, good evening. Ricky 6624, good evening. Bendays 33, good evening. Real Blogger, good evening. Abike Okikiola, good evening. Ellie B, good evening. Ajagbe, good evening. Ade, good evening. And every one of you, good evening as well. Would like to say we appreciate you on this platform. Thank you very much to those of you that have also listened on the MixLR, and we have to go now. That will be the final one. Like I say, thank you very much. It is Star Radio UK, and I'll be back again same time next week. Bye for now.
In your car,
At work,
at home,
on your smartphone.
This is Star Radio UK.
all around the world.
This is Star Radio UK.
Baba God, Baba you be too much, Baba God, Baba you be too much, Baba God, Baba you be too much, Baba God, Baba God, Baba God, Baba God.